I'm Casey Viera. The Spurs set to play their biggest primetime game in like over a decade. So naturally, they go back to their old ways and pull the plug a little bit and get rid of just a little bit of fun aspect to it that we were anticipating.
This is Jeff Garcia, host of Locked On Spurs. I'm going to continue saying this until they lose. Shout out Austin Spurs. They won again, 10-1 of the season. David Jones Garcia poured in 33 points. Break them out. Maybe the G League championship is just down the road.
And I'm Devin Brown. Welcome to another exciting show. I got my boy Jeff. I got my boy Casey. Hey, let's get into it. Casey, we're ready.
This is Locked On Spurs Squad Show, the twice-a-week show where Spurs talk gets real. No filters, no fluff, just raw takes, sharp opinions, and straight-up passion for the game. The way only Locked On Podcast Network knows how. Let's drop some dimes and squad up. The Spurs Squad Show starts now.
Indeed, it does. In today's episode, brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, head on over to FanDuel.com and place your NFL bets all season long. This, of course, is the Spurs Squad Show right here on Locked On Spurs, part of the #1 sports podcast network in all of the land. #1, the top, because of individuals to my right, screen right, if you will. Jeff Garcia, title pod, Locked On Spurs, man in the middle, NBA champion Devin Brown. I'm Casey Viera. A lot to talk about tonight because we knew it was going to be a busy Tuesday, and it is. Victor Wembanyama, his status against the Lakers, a strong showing we'll talk about for good and bad with Dylan Harper, plus how the Spurs, how well they've played or not. We're going to grade how things have looked for this Spurs team in the 11 games that they have not played without Wemby. And of course, with the NBA Cup on deck, we're going to, throw our hat into the ring and take a little bit of a guess as to who we think is going to come away with the whole thing. But we start with news about the big fella. Victor Wembanyama will not play in the knockout rounds. No, he will not play. That strained calf going to keep him out for the 12th consecutive game as his teammates venture on out to Los Angeles for their primetime matchup tomorrow against LeBron, Luka, and company. So that said, my friend, we'll start with you, Devin Brown. Are you surprised that we are not going to be talking about Victor Wembanyama on the floor tomorrow night in LA?
I am surprised. This is the big game. For the Spurs, obviously they're the ones playing in it, but for the city, right? Think about what we've been through in the last few years, and now you have a squad that can play. All these guys can play. They're stepping up. They're doing their best. Without him, just like everybody, I thought he was going to be playing tomorrow. This has now gotten very interesting as far as where is the Spurs roster up to date in a game like this, in an atmosphere that doesn't get any better than LA? This is going to be a tough task without the big fella.
Jeff, I think one of the things, and I'm along the lines with Devin, because I thought this was one of those deals where Victor is going to, I don't want to say pull rank, but for the sake of the conversation, play the superstar card, be like, nah, I'm playing. And to me, this kind of screams at the end of the day, the Spurs are saying, no, you're listening to us. You're listening to us. And until you're 120%, we don't care that it's a national TV game.
Yeah.
We want you out there come April. And so for this, when I see something like this goes down, this kind of tells me that this might be the Spurs being like, all right, big guy, we'll tell you when you're good to go.
Yeah. I'm on the opposite side. I was not surprised. As a matter of fact, I was anticipating them to say, no, going to be out, because you're not going to put your franchise players' health at risk. This is a team that has a history of doing this, from Tim Duncan setting out a playoff series and then them pretty much losing in that first round. So no, not shocked at all. And if you're the Spurs, and I agree with you, Casey, this is a message to Wemby that, yeah, you are a star. You are our guy. But ultimately, the buck stops with us, and you'll play when we're ready to play, when you're ready to play. And I'm pretty sure he's advocating right now as we speak, suddenly feeling a little better right now. I can play tomorrow. I think I'm getting better. But ultimately, they're not going to play him, and that's just the way it goes. This is the Spurs being the Spurs. This is just history speaking. I've been covering the Spurs for decades now, even when Devin was playing with them, and this is no surprise. And Casey, help me out here. Isn't it kind of in the Victor Wembanyama health side of things beneficial? I hope they don't lose. I hope they don't lose tomorrow night. I don't. But if they lose, they gain an extra few more days break before the next game that they have to play. So if you're the Spurs, you're like, oh, and Wemby, we can sit him out, and he gets an additional 2 more days of rest. Yeah, let's rock and roll with that. And but I'm pretty sure the NBA is probably frowning right now, saying, darn, we don't get Wemby, Luka, LeBron. Oh, well, yeah.
Management hung up that phone call from Silver. He said, any way we can get Wemby out there, expedite that process a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And in Los Angeles, too. So
in Los Angeles, in LA. Against LeBron, against Luka. Any way that calf can be good by December 10th. And Will over there on the other line said, hung up the phone. And that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Devin, talking about the aspect of the player wanting to play against the team sitting in the middle of it and be like, nah, you're good to go. Is that kind of, and I know you've talked about the Tim Duncan side of things, and maybe Tim was more established at that point that he could really flex the superstar. But when we say something like that, do you think that's more common than is let out there, where teams just get in the way and be like, nope, we don't care who you are. You're sitting. You're sitting. Not.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You're good.
So in that aspect, I've seen it both ways, where you have the superstar that is going to step in and say, no, I got to get this one. But Casey, Jeff, think about this. If you're the NBA, you have the Spurs, starting to get their franchise back together, and they're sitting not just the Spurs' best player, but one of the league's best players. That's the message that I don't want people to forget here is back in the day, the Spurs started all of this, with the sitting out and we talked about it the other night, Casey, the 2012 or whenever it was. And now here again, the Spurs are bucking the system, so to speak, again. Hey, man. Hey, I don't know when this is what the league has to do, but think about this. You've got these draft picks and you got these players, and now you have Wemby, who probably, I'm just gonna be honest with you, probably could go, and you're saying no. Hey, I don't I know there's 5 championships, but what's going on here? Like that's all I gotta say. What's going on here, Casey?
Yeah. Well, I think when you talk about, you compare it to 2012 when David Stern fined the organization on that national TV game $250,000 because he sat the big 3 and a couple others on TNT in Miami. I think the Halliburton and the Jason Tatum thing last year, I think that pretty much killed any kind of ground for Silver to stand on. I know they issue out these fines every now and then. It's not deemed credible, but when it comes to these calf things, I think Silver knows that he doesn't have any ground to stand on.
When were those injuries?
Which ones?
Both of them.
Oh, in the postseason.
Oh,
obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So that was way more games than this, huh, Jeff?
Yeah. Postseason cup game. Yeah. I think if you put it on that scale, you're going to lean towards having a well-rested and healthy Vic towards when is the real season, which is the playoff positioning and obviously seeding. But again, I don't know why anybody's surprised. I mean, I saw social media Spurs fans up in arms right now, and I get it. That's their guy. That's the guy. It's the Lakers. You want Wemby back. He's a megastar. I totally understand that. But was not to Tim Duncan. It was as recently as De'Aaron Fox. They sat him out for a while, longer than maybe he thought he would be. And even, I think, maybe Devin, you can help me out with this. I think they even did it to Manu Ginobili. The guy, who would play out there with one of his friends.
We have sponsors, Jeff.
Yeah,
remember that.
I know. Hey, yeah, I get it. I just said one of his friends are missing. But At the same time, I guess what I'm trying to get at is this is just who they are. This is what the culture that has been bred into this franchise, and it's still here, even though we're already in the post-Popovich era and whatnot. So, yeah, no surprise at all. Like I said, does Wemby want to play? I'm sure of it. I'm sure. I'm 100%. Now, look, I get it. It's bright lights. It's the big stage. It's LA. It's $500,000 per player, and then $225,000 for two-way players. All of us would want to play for that game, for that kind of cash. I get that. So, but the Spurs are going to Spurs. I don't know what more I can say. This is just who they are.
Are we worried yet? No, not saying that it's some sort of big conspiracy Kawhi type thing, but just from the sheer aspect of Victor missing it's going to be over a month in all likelihood, and it's a calf thing. Are we concerned? What's our level of concern 1 to 10, you think?
Well, my concern is that you're putting a lot on the other guys to hold you afloat. Now, we're going to get into that later, but man, it's a lot. Like some of these guys, it's a lot on their plate, for not having a lot of playoff experience is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, level of concern, we got a 3. I'm not concerned.
3.
Yeah. I'm not concerned that Wemmy's been out for a while. I'm not. They're playing the long game. The Spurs are playing the long game. They see what they have in their hands right now. It's a solid record without him, playing well without him. Only imagine what they can be when he does come back. We're going to hit it in a while. I know we're going to talk about their record without Wemby, but they're proving that they can sustain life without Wemby. Why not give your guy a little extra time to rest up and heal and be ready? Now, when he comes back, guys, no. If he gets dry skin, he ain't sitting out. I hope they don't go that route. If he stumps his toe, no, you're playing through all that stuff. I suspect the moment he gets back, it's going to be that game till, hope, knock on wood, nothing major happens to him, but till the end of the season. You might get an occasional low management game here and there, but I don't suspect any significant time away from the court once he returns. But I'm not concerned at all.
I'll tell you what, he's running out of games that he can have, the eczema that can keep him out on a Saturday afternoon, whatever you said. He's running out of games, so I mean.
But he is back, though. I mean, he's been at practice. I think there were reports that the Spurs kicked out media once Wemby came out to practice.
Right.
So they're at least presenting them for a little time to the media before they say, "Hey, guys, y'all got to exit." He's on his 2 feet. He's not in braces. He's not in a boot. There's no medical surgery update the Spurs have given us. So, no, I'm not worried.
I'm at like a 5.5 or so. Admittedly, I'm a little bit more of a pessimist by default when it comes to these kind of things. So that might be the extra 2 points I'm tacking on there. I just don't like scenarios where it's a continuous thing, and then on the back end, there's just kind of that sense of vague ambiguity on the back end, and we're just kind of wondering what if. Sometimes it's something, sometimes it's nothing.
Yeah,
you don't know, and I don't like that area of that gray area of not knowing if it's something bigger. Reports did say that he was playing 2-on-2.
Yeah.
So Devin, I know this is something that you go back to a lot, was that it's kind of like progressively you want to get a better read. It's the amount of teammates that you're on the floor with. So that would suggest if he's only at 2-on-2 right now, we're still probably theoretically looking at like another week or so, right?
Oh, at least, because you build up on the 2-on-2 to 3-on-3, and really your first 5-on-5 action is a live game. Casey, Jeff, did you guys see me looking down? I was listening to both of y'all talk, and then we're talking about who we're concerned with and things like that, and if you look, I got my phone here at the 26-27 tickets. Seems like the price is still skyrocketing with the Spurs.
There you go.
So We need the big fella on the floor, because if I get these tickets and my 10-year-old wants to see him next February, I need to know a little bit more information there.
Well, here's the thing, too. Just how divided Spurs fans are about the topic of Wemby's health. Just look at our own chat right now. You got fans right now, respectfully and cordially just debating with one another. You got Pete 1381, Cruz and Assassin. I mean, just really split down the middle. Some Spurs fans are not concerned, some are. But that is life covering the San Antonio Spurs. That's just the way they are. It's the way they are.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm at a point where, while I'm concerned, I feel like you have to take every bit of cautionary measure. And you know me, I've been on the idea that if they have to go the Team Embiid route and do some kind of plan that preserves him for April, if he misses 20 games a year, 15 to 20, I mean, have at it. Have at it. I don't care. As long as you're ready come April, come May, that's fine by me. So, I mean, if that's kind of what they're veering towards right now, I mean, I've said on this program, I can't back out of it now. And because I think it's true, I think that is the move, if that's what it takes. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, Devin, Casey.
Yes.
If the Spurs win tomorrow,
yes,
does he come back for the semis in Vegas?
Against OKC, I mean, you got to see where you're at, right? Because that's the team right now is OKC.
Yeah.
You got to see where you stack up with them with all your weapons. I mean, I say, yeah. I mean, he's welcome. Meaning, like I said, I don't have my Advil on me, but it's somewhere. I can get him some Advil.
You know what? I'm still saying, even if they advance, they still won't play him.
I'm with Jeff.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm with Jeff because for everything that you just said, Devin.
Exactly.
If he is only, they've shown with this Laker thing, they don't care about the prime time part of it.
Right.
So they don't care. So if you get rid of that aspect, so that would suggest it doesn't matter. And then if he's only at 2-on-2s right now, by this weekend, he's not going to be up to 5-on-5s.
No.
So I
agree with you. I agree with you.
That would not suggest to me that he's going to play. I mean, crazier things have happened, and we don't obviously know entirely. But based off of him only being at 2-on-2s and them not putting him out there tomorrow, I don't think he plays if they win.
Yeah.
You know what I want to know, Casey?
What do you want to know?
Who's his teammate on 2-on-2, and who are they playing against? Because I'm pretty sure he's out there scoring all the points.
Hey, you know what? Maybe it's Dylan Harper. And if it is, that's pretty good. That'd be a perfect segue, because coming up on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about Dylan Harper. And this week we saw Harper for the best and Harper for the worst. Thankfully, the better part of that, the most recent part of that. So a lot of good stuff to harp on coming up on the other side of the break on the Spurs Squad Show right here on Locked On Spurs. But before we do all that, we're going to talk to you about a few of our friends that help drive the program. And let's revisit our title sponsor, of course, FanDuel. No better place to get in on the action, as we know. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel, they have live bets on everything from who's going to score next, fourth quarter comebacks, all that good stuff. If you had any money on that Pelicans Spurs game yesterday, God bless you, because that was a tough one, for better or worse. Plus, you can even combine all that, your live bets, into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push, or in the Spurs case, yesterday, trying to survive one. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com, sign up, play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, welcome back into the Spurs Squad Show right here on Locked On Spurs. As always, thank you for making the Squad Show or the title pod, Locked On Spurs, or the postcast, your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club and get Locked On Spurs. No interruptions, a members-only Discord access, and more. $5 a month or $50 a year. Head on over to LockedOnPodcasts.com. And that, of course, it means if you tag in and you get in on all that, you get the three of us for better or worse. I'm not sure it's worth paying for it. Jeff Garcia, man in the middle, our buddy Devin Brown, NBA champion. I am merely Casey Viera. All right, guys. One guy Jeff loves when I introduce bits like that. All right, one guy who is more than merely just his title is Dylan Harper. And yesterday, in the really past two showings, we've seen for better and worse, coming off of a miserable showing in Cleveland on Friday, where he only put up 1 point on 1 of 11. Yesterday, he bounces back with 22 points, including the go-ahead score. Those numbers a career high, easily the best performance that he's had in his rookie campaign so far. Jeff, we'll give you first crack at this thing.
Yeah.
What have you liked about Dylan Harper so far, more specifically over the past week, that maybe we would not have liked or expected last time we got together a week ago?
Well, I'll tell you this much. Moving forward, can we not have his dad in the house? Maybe that's why he was nervous against Cleveland. Ron Harper was in the house. Maybe he was like, oh, man, my dad's getting all the love right now in Cleveland. I got to put on a show, and maybe just overthought things. But, no, I mean, what can you say about the kid? I mean, he's only played, what 13 games in the NBA? That's it. That's it. And his ability to bounce back from losses and his ability to hit those clutch shots when needed. It's not Harrison Barnes. It's not Devin Vassell. It's not Keldon Johnson. It's been Dylan Harper that's been making crucial buckets towards the end, along with De'Aaron Fox as well. But, gentlemen, in the month of November, he only played 4 games. That's it, 4 games, 15 minutes a game, scored about 12 points per game, and about a rebound before he was shelved. By the way, 1.3 assists in the month of November. In December, the same amount of games, 4 games, 23 minutes per game. Now he's at 14 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and a whopping 6 assists per game. Which stood out for me, and I didn't think he was going to be I knew he was going to be a scorer. I know he was going to be a good defender. I know he was going to be a great rim attacker. But I did not see the facilitating come so soon. Nearly 6 assists per game so far through the month of December, 5.8 to be exact. That's what I'm liking. That's what's surprising me so far.
Devin, what you got?
I think he plays with a ton of poise. You know, he values his minutes, and that's what you have to do as a young guy. The thing that's been impressive the most is that, and we've talked about this on previous shows, is that down the stretch, it seems like, and it's just a small sample size of it, that Coach Mitch is wanting to go to him in that last 6 minutes. Now, as an NBA player, you know if you're in there in under 6 minutes in the fourth quarter in any game, you know where you stand with the coach and the coaching staff, things like that. And they continue to give him little doses of that right now. Let me tell you something. He's a young man that can make De'Aaron Fox better. And I think that's what Coach Mitch is liking, is that, like I said, to be a championship team, you got to have a competitive locker room. And thus far, Casey, Jeff, we've seen that.
I think that the biggest thing that I've taken away from him so far, especially since he's come back, is that the resilience aspect of it that Jeff was talking about. But for me, it's when you look at that resilience coming from a kid who's been in the business a couple months, you know, tremendously green and all this. It's one thing to, you know, lose your confidence in the sense if you're just going to be kind of a guy who stands, you know, catch and shooter, you're not a pivotal focal point of the offense. Well, you know, one of these guys who just, you know, is solely assigned to do one thing. You get your confidence back out of shooter. This is me just spitballing off the top of my head. This is a guy who's asked to do a lot. He is asked to do a lot. He is asked to facilitate an offense. He is asked to learn how to work with an all-star point guard that essentially puts him out of position, Harper as well. He is asked to do a lot. And for the most part, with that little hiccup that he had in Cleveland, he has been really good on that aspect of it. Really good at that aspect. Like if all else fails and he doesn't turn into an all-star caliber player, at minimum, I feel like, Devin, like this is such a default thing that I shouldn't call it a default, maybe just at its core, something, a real good foundational piece that he has, just that mental stability, that even keel, being level like that, that's going to keep him in rotations for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is that yeah, I understand that they've only played however many games, 23 games, whatever the number is. But one of the things that you said that got my attention was he has been around this. Those are conversations with dad that a lot of people can't have
That's
when
true.
you don't have a
That's true.
father that's
Yeah.
played. So he's prepared him
A
for
point
every
guard too. Well, yeah,
situation.
and a point guard too.
And a point guard too.
Yeah.
So he's prepared him for every situation. Hey, yeah. The day he was drafted, I mean, the conversation goes, hey, you're going to the San Antonio Spurs. They have a history of winning. You may not start because they have Castle, but just be ready to go whenever your number's called. Well, he's done that, right?
And speaking of,
go
sorry,
ahead, Jeff.
Oh, no. I was gonna just add to the whole idea, notion of him being ready and Mitch going to him. So I looked up some numbers real fast here, and I was like, okay, well, what is it like when it's under 3 minutes per quarter? All right, so this is what the stats show us. Less than 3 minutes per quarter, he's shooting about 46%. So he ups his game. He ups the game to close out quarters, and I like that. He's so far attempted 39 shots, made 18 for a whopping 46% when the shot clock, when time left in the quarter is under 3 minutes. So I mean, that's just so awesome. When it's crunch time, like the margin is less than 5 points or less, he's shooting 47%. So he loves that pressure. As former Spurs Steven Jackson once said, he makes love to pressure. It looks like Dylan Harper will be doing that soon in his career as well.
Where's the pivot outside of that?
I have no words, Jeff. I have no words.
Yeah.
Casey, you got anything?
I was going to say we better find them because we have about a half hour left on the program. Devin, who do you think will have the more seamless, I guess, kind of adjustment to playing with Fox? Because they both have seen a reasonable sample size, and the numbers I feel like would slightly favor Harper. But where do you think they're at right now? Who do you think is better suited next to Fox at the moment between Harper and Castle?
Castle. And I don't say that, just, lightly. I mean,
yeah,
I look at it from the defense part of it, where you don't have to have, when they play the Warriors, you don't have to have De'Aaron guarding Steph Curry. Okay, where that may take a little bit away from his offense as far as Fox goes, is what I mean. And so when you look at it like that, with what you're proposing to me, I say Castle, just in the fact that, both of them are coming along with their three, and they're doing a good job of that. But defensively, you can have Castle, guard two or three different positions, and that allows De'Aaron to be Mr. Fourth Quarter.
Jeff, what you thinking?
Man. I'm glad you're bringing this up because we're going to be talking about this in the upcoming episode of Locked On Spurs, just the guards in general, how they fit, who pairs well with one another. I'm not trying to cop myself out of here, but it feels like it's still too early to tell. It's still too early to know. We don't know like the seeding yet for Steph Castle. It's great. The trajectory is going great, but if you look at Harper, does he have more in the bag down the road than Castle does? Fox is Fox by now. He is who he is, and that's what he's going to be for the rest of the season. I mean, for his career, excuse me. But, man, I would lean Harper. Because there's the eye test alone just screams out this potential to supersede Castle and Harper. Fox, excuse me.
I'm not sure. And I'm going to say Harper right now, but I say that with very little confidence. I say that with I don't say that in the negative sense when I say little confidence, but I say that in the sense that there's just, too much data inconclusive right now with this. But what I will say is on the Castle side of things, having that defensive side of it is obviously major. But I don't, and Devin, I know you like to go back to the idea of like, they're dogs and you need the competition to heat up in practice. But there's just something about it. Like I look at how things are operating with him and Fox on the floor. And I feel like we're just like heading towards this inevitable. And this is not to suggest that there's anything between the two of them. It's just like they're both just that same type of archetype of player for the most part. Need the ball in your hands, explosive player, not particularly great shooter. Though I've been pleasantly surprised. I think Fox has played a little bit better off the ball than I was anticipating. I actually think he's looked okay at the catch and shoot. And maybe it's me overthinking, maybe it's me overreacting, but I just still feel like that impasse between Castle and Fox, like we're heading towards it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, if you're Dylan Harper, you have to rely on Fox when you have a game in Cleveland, correct? Whereas Castle, like I said before he got hurt, he doesn't rely on Fox. I think that Castle
good point.
is to the point, in his game where he's like, no, I can figure this thing out. Like I don't need to hear. Like I'll listen to you, but I'm not hearing you. If that makes sense. So whereas a Dylan Harper is not there yet, but he's getting there very soon. So that's why I have Castle ahead of him. I just like Castle's release on the three. I mean, both of them are, whatever percentage they are, and they're going to both grow as players from beyond the three. I like Castle's shot and release better right now.
All right.
That's right. I think it may be a little too early to tell still. I think it's still too early. I mean, but if you're a financial analyst and planner, you can literally see those trends going the right way where, Casey, you're right. It's going to be a crossroads at one point. And what I thought may happen in 2 to 3 years, I think we may see it as early as just in 2 years. In 2 years.
How about 2 to 3? How about 2 to 3 months?
Would not be surprised as well. Not be surprised as well.
Yeah.
But it's just riches this Spurs team has right now with those three guys in uniform. It's unlikely that maybe Fox will be here long term. I think down the road he will be the odd man out. Down the road, Harper and or Castle will be his replacement. But man, you got how many good solid years and cheap years with those two guys? Another 2? So when next come payday, Castle's gonna have to really, really show out, and he'll probably get a bag. But falling right behind him is Harper, and I think then some of the financial issues may get in the way of the decisions that the Spurs have to do. I don't know. I mean, we all seen this Spurs team. They don't break the bank often. They don't go over that luxury cap often. So if you use that as a kind of like a crystal ball, then maybe it's going to be Fox that's going to be let go, free up some money to pay those two guys.
Yeah, it's 2 years with Castle under rookie control after this year. 3 years, obviously, with Harper being a rookie after this year. And then that's going to be right, like you said, I mean, right in the meat of that Fox extension that it's coming about. And that's when the tough conversations are going to happen. We'll see. We don't really know, neither here nor there, but what we do know, it's an interesting spot that they're in right now, because I think if there's anything that we've learned in the infancy of this process, or at least this was something Devin and I talked about last night, Jeff, on the postcast, was that they might view this as like, if you strip it, the All-Star titles, the Rookie of the Year titles, where Dylan Harper was selected, and you just look at 3 players who essentially play 2 positions, they might look at it as exactly that, as 3 really good players for 2 spots. Not that they necessarily owe anyone anything. I mean, I think the advantage favors in terms of just, just respecting your employees, so to speak. It favors Fox. It favors Castle as opposed to Harper being a rookie and not having no real, sense of, entitlement to that yet. I just think right now it's at a point where, yeah, I think it's too green, but it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. And part of the reason, fellas, that's why the Spurs are winning basketball games. Coming up on the other side of the break here on the Spurs Squad Show on Locked On Spurs, we're going to give a letter grade to this team. Their past 11 games since Victor Wembanyama went down. We're putting on the teacher's hat, if you will. What we like, what we don't like, and we'll, I guess, figure out what's happening on in that NBA Cup before we wrap things up here on the Spurs Squad Show right here on Locked On Spurs. But of course, before we do all that, I want to talk to you about our friends over there at Mint Mobile. Well, as we know, the holiday time is here, and never want to let big wireless drain your wallet when it comes to the holidays. Right now, Mint Mobile is running their best deal. All their unlimited plans, 50% off. That means you can lock in 3, 6, even 12 months of unlimited premium wireless, $15 a month. That's all it's going to cost you. It's the easiest way to take your overpriced phone bill and give it the full Scrooge moment, if you will. And what makes it even better is how simple Mint makes this switch over. No contracts, no nonsense. All you want is real savings and quality service. Bang, there you get it. Service is fast, super reliable, even on the go. So turn your expensive wireless present into huge wireless savings by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's Mint Mobile. See it on your screen right there, .com/LockedOnNBA. Limited time offer, upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. The plan required, that's a $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees, initial plan term only. Greater than 35 gigabytes may slow down when the network is busy. Capable devices required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See Mint Mobile. .com. All right, bottom of the program here on the Spurs Squad Show on Locked On Spurs. First time hanging out with us, welcome. What we are, 3 of us getting together on the 2 big programs on this show. Of course, the title pod with Jeff Garcia every single day. He's got you covered. Devin Brown and I after every single game on the Spurs postcast. All of it right here on Locked On Spurs. Tuesdays, Thursdays, a roundtable of sorts, if you will, to talk about, of course, your San Antonio Silver and Black. And for the most part, guys, it's only been good conversations for the last month because the Spurs are winning basketball games and they're doing it in a whole bunch of different ways without Victor Wembanyama. 8-3 since Wemby went down in the middle of November, early November with that left calf strain. And for a stretch of time where we knew the Spurs were going to be in a state of flux, trying to make something out of nothing, just trying to stay afloat in a very competitive Western Conference. They're doing exactly that. And we're learning a lot about this team along the way. Guys doing a little of a lot of a little, whatever which way you want to spin it. Devin Brown, going to ask you first. Put a letter grade on the past 11 games for this Spurs team.
All right, I'm going to go C. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because C, I think of Cougars, West Campus Cougars. That's where I went. Big shout out to all my West Campus Cougars watching the show. And I say that because you need Victor's presence inside the lane against teams like Memphis, against teams like Golden State, that just Minnesota. There's a few teams that, really beat us inside. They know Victor's on the sideline, so they're going inside, really hammering us as far as points in the paint go. So we need his presence. You need him out here, but right now they're doing a great job. But I go C for Cougars.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what association to the letter I'm going to give. I'm going to give B for Beastman, one of my favorite evil characters in Masters of the Universe. I'm going to give a B. I commend him for going into Denver and beating the Nuggets in their gym with Joker there. I mean, amazing. Congratulations. Way to go, boys. Winning games, without him. Above 500 record. But that near loss to the Pelicans left a sour taste in my mouth. Really, really did. I know it's a win, and I know I should see it as glass half full. They got the win, right? That's good. They held off a Pelicans team that was charging back. But I can't forgive them for blowing a 25-point lead. I can't forgive them for letting the game in Minnesota slip through their hands. But it feels like they're more Dr. Jekyll than Mr. Hyde. And that's what makes this team so interesting, because we know they can be so good. So even without Wemby, but you can still see the maturation process is still going on. Coming out of the halftime, I mean, that's still a problem, and it's a major problem. And Mitch Johnson is starting to recognize it more and more and more in post games. So all in all, good job, Spurs. You stayed well above floating and keeping your head above the water, but maybe you should have like 5 or 6 lifeboats around you versus maybe 2 or 3, just because of those losses that they had without Wemby. But all in all, I'm giving them a solid B.
I'm probably going to B+. And maybe if they didn't have that disaster class of a second half yesterday in New Orleans, I maybe would have bumped them up to an A-. There's something about the job that Mitch Johnson, in my opinion, learned that I think will be a blessing in disguise, for better or worse, of not having Victor Wembanyama with this team. And I think very easily when you have, and this is not just Mitch exclusive, I think any time you have an elite talent that can solely bail you out of games like Victor can, there's a level of complacency that can come about. But it hasn't been perfect with Mitch during this stretch. It has not. Like you said, Jeff, the third quarters have been terrible for the, I don't want to say for the most part, but hey, we'll say it. For the most part, a lot of these third quarters have not been good. We'll say it. More have been bad than they have been good, I guess. But I can't weigh heavy on that. One, of course, when they're winning, above all else, which is what they're doing. But he's making something out of nothing. And I don't really say nothing in the sense to be overly condescending to what they do have. But for the most part, these are spare parts that he's playing with, unestablished guys that he's playing with. Well, hold on, let me finish. With the exception of Fox, because he hasn't had Castle, he has had a rookie in Dylan Harper who hasn't been particularly proven in itself. We've seen good flashes like we have, but are you crediting a big sample size of your success to Devin Vassell in years past? I mean, the team had been a 20-something team when he's been the second scorer. I mean, we love Keldon Johnson, but Keldon Johnson, for the most part, is a role player guy. He's had to find time with Luke Cornett. Cornett has been hurt as well. He's had to make that work. He has pushed, for the most part, all the right buttons, I feel like, when it comes to mixing and matching and getting these personnel to work. And that's not an easy job to do for anyone, let alone he's a second-year head coach. A second-year head coach down his superstar that probably wasn't planning to have his guy for over a month. And and the Stephon Castle part, I didn't even hit on that. He's been out 9 of those games too. I give him a B+. I think Mitch has done a good job keeping them, and it's not an easy job. He needed to.
I wouldn't say spare parts. Devin Vassell during this stretch has upped his game. He has, for all intents and purposes. We're forgetting about, I wouldn't call him a spare part, but Harrison Barnes has been a huge key in the last games without Wemby. He's been the guy. He's been putting up some solid numbers, winning games for the Spurs. Cornett may not have the numbers that are flashing and jumping off the stat sheet, but he's doing the dirty work. He's getting in there and mixing it up, setting the solid screens, finding the right guy. I like what I see out of him. But you're right, though, as far as Mitch Johnson's concerned, he has been doing good. Not great. I think he's been doing good, adequate. And he's learning just as much as an NBA rookie player as he is an NBA rookie coach. And he's taking his lumps, and we've seen it these past few games. Again, third period. How does he not motivate this team to just come out guns blazing? So, all in all, I wouldn't say spare parts. I think he's been doing a good job with top shelf parts at the hardware store. How's that? Name brand parts on this car called the San Antonio Spurs 25-26 season.
Sure. What are you thinking, Devin?
No, like I said, I stand behind, what it is, that my grade is. And that's because Wemby changes everything when he comes back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, with him out, okay, as a guard, you don't pressure up as much. You got to pay attention to detail, things like that. But for the most part, on what both of y'all are saying, the Spurs have never been, even before I was there, they've never been about excuses. And so when I look at it, and Victor's out. Okay, well, at the end of the day, he's out when he's not on a road trip, or you don't see him on the bus or whatever. So you already know going to a game what it is that you have to do. So for me, this is just run of the mill. Guys are stepping up. Yeah. Whether it's Harrison Barnes or Juju or Keldon or
good point.
Vassell or whoever. So that's just part of, wearing that jersey.
Can I ask a quick question real fast? Casey, what's their record without Wemby again? 7-4, you said?
8-3.
8-3. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah.
If he didn't have the physical injury, does Pop still guide up to an 8-3 record without Wemby? Without all the same thing that you just listed right now. No Castle, rookie point guard, spare parts, as you said. Does he still guide him to an 8-3 record?
No.
What?
I don't think so because I think Mitch Johnson has been reaching this team, has had a better connect with this team than Pop was.
I think Pop does. I think he matches 8-3. I think he gets about the same.
Casey, are you all right?
I am all right. I think Mitch Johnson. I made the analogy before. With the Pop side of things. When Pop unfortunately had to step aside, and Mitch came in last year. Mitch was the substitute. You saw it with these guys, and why I thought Mitch Johnson. While I didn't think I wanted Malone, but I thought Mitch Johnson was a good hire at the end of the day because he had a big hurdle that he had to overcome, and he did it right off the bat. Is that he had the locker room bought in. And you saw it right in the middle of the season last year where you could tell where Pop is the teacher and Pop goes away for a little bit. Mitch Johnson is the substitute, but not the substitute that you walk all over. The substitute that all the students respect because he knows his stuff, he gets the job done, and he can reach that a little bit better. Is Mitch Johnson a better coach than Greg Popovich? Absolutely not. But I do think Mitch Johnson is resonating with these players a little bit more than Pop was. That's not to suggest that Pop wasn't. I say that more in a complimentary sense for Mitch, if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
That's why I think Mitch, I am not sure if Pop goes 8-3 with that bunch. No, I'm not.
Devin, you're probably the expert on this. So do you think Pop would do that? Go 8-3 at minimum? Maybe more. I don't know.
Well, I see both sides of it. And this is why I agree with what Casey's saying is because Mitch, believe it or not, is closer to age when you talk about being able to, get with these guys off the court type stuff. Yeah. So when you're able to do that, and that's what made Pop so special, is because Pop went way beyond basketball when it came to us. He got to know you off the court, your likes, your dislikes, things like that, knew about everybody's family. So when he hit that chord with you, he hit it on a deeper level. That way, when you knew that he was upset, you got upset and you'd run through a wall for Pop. So I feel exactly what you're saying, Casey, in the sense that that's what Mitch is doing, right? Now, if y'all believe this or not, Pop actually listens to every kind of music, right? So if you come rolling up to the practice facility playing, he's not going to know the song and the artist, but he's going to ask you, hey, that's some good stuff you were listening to, things like that. So Pop did that. I'm sure Mitch is doing that. And then that's why I agree with you, Casey. And Jeff, to answer your question, yes, we would have been 8-3. We would have been 9-1. We'd already been in Vegas by now.
Well, technically no, because you got to play the game tomorrow. So technically that's not.
Oh, see, Casey, you so
Yeah, leave it to Casey. Leave it to Casey. Yeah. Well, here's interesting that we got from a comment from Super R Bar 30. It says Pop had better rotations than Mitch, but Mitch is getting better. Pop stole a bunch of games with no name brand players. You're talking about that, Casey, in a couple of games years ago. I'm gonna say they have. I'm gonna say it's still an 8-3 record with Pop. I don't know.
I had maybe I'm prisoner of the moment because I saw how those last few years went when Pop was here, and Pop for the most part just kind of it felt like it was let the kids go out there and figure it out themselves. I know that's not what it was. But I'm just saying, from a prisoner of the moment take, that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. It was not, and I mean, to be fair, Pop was going up there saying ahead of the 22 the year before Wemby, so 22-23. And what was the first thing he said when he stepped to the mic? Jeff, tell me what he said. Nobody should bet on us.
Nobody should bet on us in Vegas because we're not going to the finals.
Thank you. So that's my prisoner of the moment. Exactly. And hey, in a stunning turn of events, they went on to win 22 games.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Casey, I didn't know they were 8-3 right now without Wemby. That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Without Castle for a chunk of that game.
Yeah. I thought you were going to ask me if they would. Here we go. We don't have a lot of time to hit on it, but Devin hasn't done much pot stirring, so I will. Real quick, would they have gone 8-3 in the stretch with Wemby?
No, I think they get at minimum the Minnesota game. The Minnesota game doesn't slip through their fingers. Man, who did they lose? They lost to Minnesota, Phoenix. What's the other one? Cleveland. Man, I want to say, I think they go 9-2, maybe one extra game.
Hey, Jeff, let me help you out because Jeff, hey, he's poking the bear. Hey, listen, the Spurs had 14 turnovers in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland had 14 turnovers, if I remember that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
They still lose that one. Wemby likes to average 6 or 7. He gets out there, all that crazy stuff he does. But so yeah,
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Hey, now here's where it is. That New Orleans game. If you don't go to Harper, you're going to Wemby. Does he come through though? So Casey, I agree with you. They lose one more, maybe two more with Wemby being in that lineup because they'll feed the big fella until he either keeps turning it over or makes a shot. One of the two.
Yeah, I probably got him about 8-3, 9-2 because that Cleveland game. Remember, the Cleveland game they had 157 points in the paint because they were playing without Cornette too.
No, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So.
Casey, I love that. So you put it all on Bisquick. It's not all on him.
He said Bisquick.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, look, you gotta do your. Some of the players I played with, they still live here in San Antonio. When it comes to the end of the bench players, I got nicknames for them: McLovin and Bisquick and all those guys.
Did you have a nickname?
You beat me to it. You beat me to it.
Oh,
yeah. I did. Yeah. So everybody remembers PJ Carlissimo, legendary coach, great coach. He called me the Bull, and I was like, "Why am I the Bull?" And he goes, "You ever seen a bull in a china shop? Just he's like, that's how you are driving the ball to the basket." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, coach."
Thanks, coach.
Hey, it could have been worse. It could have been worse, Devin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, very, very much so. All right. Almost time for us to get out of here on the Spurs Squad Show. But before Jeff Garcia and the Bull and I, we'll step aside real quick. And on this other side of the break, give our hot takes. What are the Spurs doing come the Emirates Cup time? How long are they lasting? Will Victor be back? Who's taking it all? Got that coming up on the other side. Real quick break right here on the Spurs Squad Show. All right, Eastern Conference games. The knockout rounds are just about in the books. It's going to be Knicks in Orlando and Vegas, so we'll touch on that part in just a second. But obviously, we're all focused on what's happening in the West.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
OKC, Phoenix, Spurs, Lakers. No Victor Wembanyama. Jeff, what is going to be happening? What's going to be happening on the West side of things?
I mean, can we just give OKC the Cup tournament trophy already? You just give it to them. I don't see. I mean, Phoenix is probably the strongest competition they have, and it's their opening game. Not to say anything about the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, but without Wemby, your one arm's tied behind your back, and feet and toes, and one eye's closed against that team, that OKC team that only lost one game so far. I see Phoenix giving OKC some serious run. Both I see OKC advancing. As far as the Spurs-Lakers matchup, I know everybody's saying getting Lakers. You know, they're on a roll right now. They're tied for second in the West right now. Reeves is playing great. Luka is being Luka. LeBron is back. But my gut tells me this young Spurs squad is going to get up for it, and I think they're going to pull out the win tomorrow. I think they're going to go to LA and shock the Lakers and get a W. May not be pretty, maybe ugly, but I can see this team really rallying that first time in some sort of high-stakes game for most of these kids on the roster. Whew. I'm going to say Spurs advance. I'm going to say Spurs advance.
What you thinking, Devin Brown?
All right. Hey, I'm going to say Spurs advance, and it's because of what we talked about earlier. Harper, Castle, Fox. And then Casey, you'll love this, Cornette.
Yeah.
Hey, Spurs go out there and do their thing. They play OKC. They can play OKC and OKC in Vegas, in Hawaii. I don't care. They're going to be up for that challenge as well. Whoever it is from the East, bring them on. Long live San Antonio. Viva la Spurs.
There you go. Hey, you know, and I forgot to mention this, Casey, when you handed it off to me a little while ago. So, I was like, well, who, like, since this whole cup thing started, like, is there like a separate scoring leaders for the cup? Interesting. Guess who is got it right here. Give me 2 seconds. Here it is. Since the cup's inception, the third best scorer in cup games, De'Aaron Fox. He averages 31.6 points per cup game since its inception.
Interesting.
Yep.
How many deflections does he have on? I'm sorry, we don't have time.
But the top scorer in cup games, no shocker here.
Right.
Probably the most fights instigated probably be Desmond Bane. But Luka Doncic, he holds the top career scoring average in cup games, 32.6 points per game. So
I said Desmond Bane because I think he had 37, and I think I saw some stat. I was half paying attention. The Magic already had it in the bag. I think he was as the 2 highest scoring performances in cup games. I don't know. Yeah. Either way, Wemby suits up. I'm taking the Spurs. I'm taking the Spurs, and I'm taking no. I'm taking no. I had them. I wanted to see the hypothetical wasn't happening, so I was going to see how far out the window I was going to jump. Now, had Wemby suited up, I would have taken them over the Lakers and then lost to OKC. But I got the Lakers too much. You know, the Spurs have been on the road for a year and a half now too. So I got Lakers tomorrow. I have OKC over the Lakers. I'm boring. I'm going chalk. OKC over the Knicks.
If the Spurs do beat the Lakers, do they have a chance if the Suns were to shock the world and beat the Thunder? Or no, just because Phoenix is.
Hey, don't give up on Dylan Brooks. He's balling right now.
Well, and I honestly, man. I think the Suns have a shot. Yeah, I do. But I think the Spurs have a shot to.
I think the Suns were like one of the rare teams this year to push OKC to the brink of picking up a loss. They really have.
They're good. They're good. Suns are good. They have it figured out over there. I just don't think they're good enough to beat the Thunder, and I don't think the Spurs are good enough to beat the Thunder without Victor anyways. But
you think, Devin, you think the Thunder are going to break the win-loss record in NBA history?
Ooh.
I think they are.
Jeff, it's going to be close because they are off and running. That's going to be really close because think about it. You got to beat them, 10 more times?
Jeez.
Ooh, that's going to be close.
They've gone through the quarter of the season. If you want a context here, they've gone through the quarter of the season with one loss.
Yeah, 23-1.
That's insane.
If you need a context for that statement, whether they're gonna
yeah, because Casey, you know where I'm at. 25 games. That's close enough. 23-1 is good. Pretty darn good.
I've never seen a team. I thought the Warriors team back in their peak were dominant. This is a whole other level.
Doesn't matter if they don't win the whole thing, though. That's what you're known for.
That is true.
73-9 Warriors. You're known for the 18-1 Patriots. That's what you're known for.
Yep.
Is it like a curse if you have a solid record like that? Like, are you like automatically cursed to not win it all? Did the Warriors lose when they had that incredible run?
Yeah,
to the Cavs, right? To LeBron and the Cavs.
2016, yeah, they were 73-9. They almost lost to Oklahoma City.
That's
OKC
right.
Almost knocked them out. Yeah. But anyways, we could do this all day. We got to get out of here. Be sure to hang out with us. We got a busy week here on the Locked On Spurs family. As always, Jeff's got you covered with the title pod tomorrow, bright and early and deep late into the night. Devin and I, we will be back following Spurs Lakers 9:00 tip-off, national TV. Winner advances to Las Vegas to take on either the Phoenix Suns or, of course, those aforementioned Oklahoma City Thunder. And Devin and I, whatever which way it goes, we will be right there once the game goes final, right back here on Locked On Spurs. And as we do every single episode, regardless, show love to you guys, the everydayers. You're the ones who drive this program. You're checking in, your engagement, just like you've done tonight. You're the ones who make this fun and the reason why the Locked On Podcast Network is the #1 sports podcast network out there. And as always, we appreciate your engagement, your involvement, your clicks, and the fun that you give to us. So with that said, good place to put a bow on things tonight, fellas. Good hangout session as always for the man in the middle, Jeff Garcia, host of the title pod Locked On Spurs. Devin Brown, NBA champion, a.k.a. the Bull, according to PJ Carlissimo.
The Bull.
Have a nice night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.